Got a weird and quite frankly kind of sad story here. It's from boundintocomics.com. Former Polygon editor Ben Kuchera alleges reviews were rewritten and claims of child abuse ignored by management during his tenure. Whoops, that's been right there. He's claimed his and other reviews were rewritten by the outlet's editor-in-chief during an alleged breakdown. During this, he claimed those who believed in corruption in games, media, and journalism, such as GamerGate, were right. Basically, now he talked some about how he had been tweeting about how when Vox unionized, he got paid more, and it goes on and on about that for a while. And like I said, you could, I'll link this in the description box so you can read it if you want. But then after he got through with that rant stuff, he began a 4-hour rant. Judging by the occasional poor spelling as well as repeating some points over and over, some believe Kuchera was either drunk or going through a nervous breakdown or psychotic episode. He kind of addresses that later. Nevertheless, he makes several damning claims against his former employer, including Polygon editor-in-chief and co-founder Chris Plante. He said, "Anyway, I'm done. Maddie Myers told me I can't say a negative thing about Chris Plante's reviews, and I'm tired of pretending the fix isn't in." And then, of course, it gets worse and worse. Was I pressured to change review scores? Yep. Was I told my score didn't match my own words? Yep. Was I told to change my scores to make Chris Plante happy? Yep. I'm done pretending otherwise. They said, so when Chris Plante and Maddie Myers decided my scores aren't allowed, you have to ask yourself who these people are protecting. I'm just tired of being told to adjust my review scores by Polygon people who they think they have power over me. Maddie Myers threatened my job because I got the vaccine, and later the company told me I was gone. I'm getting so many messages about corruption in games media, and these folks are right. Maddie Myers hides reality because it makes them money, and Chris Plante has told me they won't help. Money is what matters to them, not humans. And he goes on and on. And he talks, like I said, they said it was a 4-hour rant. He had alluded that no one at Polygon is willing to stand up for women's rights, and employees are too scared of being fired to stand up for what's right. He later claimed he had not been given time off work to care for his daughter in the aftermath of being sexually abused. All they had to say was tough luck. He says, further claiming that along with Polygon management being unsympathetic and offering no assistance, him requesting for help was what got him fired. So in total, he refers to being fired due to taking time off from the COVID vaccine, an additional 7 times, fired over taking time off to support his children 23 times, and reiterated Plante was rewriting and rescoring reviews 12 times, not including replies he made to other Twitter accounts. His mental state can make some comments hard to judge the validity of, though Kuchera is clearly incensed over what would be understandable circumstances if true. Across the rant, he also at times claimed it was his children being vaccinated, though it's possible this was done at a similar time to his own. This is really fucked up, and I mean, there's still a lot more to go. That's why I said I'll link to it in the description box if you want to read it for yourself. His assertion, that Plante was threatening my family if I don't take Vox Media's bribe money. Could have meant him being threatened with termination. His claim Vox Media has been threatening me doing so, caring for his children, for months, suggests he was given months of leeway to make up his time. He also claimed to have screenshots proving Polygon threatening writers along with court documents confirming he told his superiors about his daughter's abuse, coupled with the fact that HR did nothing when they were told, and that Myers blamed Kuchera for the abuse that befell his daughter. He often used the plural children rather than a singular child and referred to the abuse as though it was ongoing. And it goes on, and like I said, it's sad. It's also weird. I don't know. Was the guy just drunk and making all this shit up? Was he having a nervous breakdown? Was this all true? And he's just telling the truth. He's sick and tired of hiding it. I don't know. He also claimed he's being in an abusive relationship and subsequent messy divorce, where a weapon that his co-workers, used against me. Polygon saw this as a great opportunity to force me out and side with my abuser, which kind of makes it sound like the abuser works for Polygon or at Vox Media in some instance. He would later deny all of his tweets, leaving only a few retweets from the year 2011, all that kind of shit. He said, I'm figuring so much shit out in real time during incredibly stressful circumstances. I'm working on giving myself a little more grace because so many of us are barely hanging on, working on it. Appreciate you all. He also said PTSD is horrible, and sometimes that's how it manifests. And if you have any idea how to curb that, I am literally all ears. Now, I will say this was from like a week ago. I don't know. And then he goes on and talks about, I had a scary sustained panic attack yesterday. I've gotten in touch with my doctor and we're doing a phone session today. And I'm taking something safe to calm down a little. I'm still pretty rattled, but I'm okay. I appreciate people checking in. This kind of thing. Then of course he says he's gonna take a break from Twitter, which is probably a good thing, if it's especially if it's difficult for you to deal with. If you're that type that like Twitter affects you, you shouldn't be on there because Twitter is a cesspit. Can be. I mean, depending. There's some good stuff on there. I don't want to make it out like it's all trash. But anyway, and then they conclude this article. So why should we take Kuchera's comments about game corruption as true if all of it was if this was born of a panic attack? Because rather than confirmations having at Polygon, it's merely affirmations we already knew in a way. He's written about game developer. Basically, then they start talking about how he had talked about GamerGate and stuff, and basically tried to smear it as a it's anti-women. They hate women. They're going against women. They're a bunch of misogynists, as you can see. There's from him from 2014. You know, it seemed Kuchera doth protest too much, knowing how he reported on the claims of sexual harassment against Stardock CEO Brad Wardo without due diligence and framed as fact, allegations later rescinded by the accuser, but he was exposed as having colluded with other game journalists when a gamer against many allegations against the industry. Then it talks about in 2014, Milo Yiannopoulos published Exposed, a secret mailing list of the gaming journalism elite. Therein he revealed Game Journal Pros, a private Google Groups mailing list made of editors and writers, included Polygon and Kuchera himself across multiple Breitbart articles. Again, like I said, I'll link this in the box so you can read all this at your own time. It's a deep dive basically. I've already gone over 6.5 minutes. I've been glossing over a lot of stuff. So I would highly recommend to read all this if you're interested. I mean, if you're not interested, that's fine. That's cool. That's fine. But anyway, he talks about how Milo exposed that the journalists included the push an anti-Gamergate narrative, blah blah blah, on and on. And like I said, it just keeps going on and on and on. I'll go ahead and wrap this up here because I've already gone 7 minutes, and quite frankly, I'm not doing true justice to this. I'm trying to hit upon the more salient points, the bigger points, at least to me. That basically that Ben has possibly torn away the mask of bullshit that was happening at Polygon. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, it goes on. Like I said, I'll link in the description box. I'll go ahead and wrap this up here, though. Let me know what you think. If you care about this, are you saying, well, good riddance or whatever? Because Ben, quite frankly, he had done some terrible, shitty things, especially with the whole GamerGate stuff. He was a part of it for the whole time. And it's like if you don't speak out when you have a chance, I mean, come on. You can't expect a whole lot of sympathy later when they turn on you or they fuck you over or whatever. Anyway, I'll go ahead and wrap this up here. Thank you very much for watching and have a good one.